Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris wants to go to a Dodgers game, but can't come up with a good excuse to miss school. He was going to say his grandma died, but he already said that 4 times last year. Zack's math teacher, who is so Jewish, he actually says,
I'm Jewish.
Yikes. Reminds everyone that Rosh Hashanah is tomorrow and he'll be at home. That gives Zack the bright idea to lie about being Jewish on one of the holiest days of the year just to go watch baseball. Also, he thinks of a menorah, which isn't even the right holiday, but whatever. Meanwhile, Jesse has a new stepbrother Eric from New York who watches a tape of the game, sees Zack catch a foul ball in the crowd, and blackmails Zack for the most petty shit, the baseball he caught and trading lockers. And instead of handing over the baseball and lockers, Zack hatches an insanely elaborate reverse blackmail scheme. Zack bribes Lisa with MC Hammer tickets to go on a date with Eric, who by the way has been stalking and harassing Lisa for days, just so he can get a picture of Eric driving Lisa in Principal Belding's new car. And how did Zack get access to the car? Zack volunteered Slater to install a CD player, even when Slater said he didn't have the time. Then he had Slater tell Eric he could borrow it. What a pal. Lisa and Eric actually hit it off. Eric lets Lisa drive Principal Belding's car because he doesn't know it's Belding's car, and when Screech tries to take the blackmail picture, Lisa crashes the damn car. Timeout. Damage to the car aside, Zack sent Lisa on a date with a guy he thought was a total creep, had her unknowingly drive a stolen car, then caused her to get in a car accident. She could have been paralyzed forever. It was 1991. Nobody was wearing any goddamn seatbelts. Does this stop Zack? Of course not. He holds an illegal ticket raffle, because we all remember those from high school, where students can buy a ticket to maybe win $600, the exact amount he needs to repair the car. Zack rigs the raffle so Screech wins. When Eric threatens to expose the scam, Zack tells him the only reason Lisa went on the date was for the MC Hammer tickets, like a total fucking bitch coward. Eric confronts Lisa, now their new relationship is ruined, and Zack just made one of his oldest friends cry in public at the place where they hang out every day. Zack left the damaged car in the auto shop class, where cars regularly get taken apart, so the car gets taken apart. Not the smartest place to leave a car, Zack. Literally anywhere else would be better. Jessie finds out about everything and straight up punches her new brother in the face. So now she's involved with the domestic violence incident before she has a high school diploma. Eric puts the car back together out of fear of getting his ass beaten again. Belding never finds out about anything, and Zack gets off completely scot-free. Eric wisely decides he should go back to New York, but then the gang shows up and says he should stay, only we never see Eric's ass again, so who knows what happened to Eric? Probably fucking killed himself. Let's review. Zack manipulated his friends at every turn into doing his dirty work, got Lisa involved in a felony car theft punctuated by an accident where she could have been killed, broke 2 young lovers' hearts, stole money from every kid in school, made Jessie punch her new brother in the face, and sent this guy back to New York 5 minutes after he got there, all because he had to lie about being Jewish to go to a baseball game. Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash. Zack Morris is trash.
Principal Belding calls the students into his office to pick a senior class community service project. Zack shows up late because he was stealing a kid's breakfast and sexually harassing his first girl of the day. Tori suggests a teen line where youths can anonymously call in with their problems. The only rules? Never ask a caller for their last name, never ask for their home numbers, and never ask to meet up with them. So naturally, Zack ignores all of that immediately. The very first call Zack gets is from a girl he decides must be hot because of her voice. He asks her last name, where she lives, and asks her out on a date. When Zack shows up for the date at the Max, on tablecloth day I guess, because I've never seen tablecloths in this place before or since, he discovers she's in a wheelchair. He handles the situation with class and grace by saying,
Whoa, you're in a wheelchair.
Zack then asks the thoughtful and sensitive questions, why didn't you tell me you're in a wheelchair? And do you mind if I ask how it happened? Which are 2 great questions to ask anyone in a wheelchair the first time you meet them. Melissa tells Zack she was just born this way, and his answer is, I'm really sorry. Zack introduces Melissa to the gang with a casual opener.
Melissa's handicapped, but she's really comfortable with it, so let's get over it, okay?
When Slater invites Melissa to volunteer at the teen line, Zack tells her she can watch him in action. Presumably the action of trying to coerce more troubled kids who sound hot into meeting up for a cheeseburger and a handjob. Melissa helps a girl with real advice about body image and accepting herself, and Zack remarks,
Even though she's handicapped, she gave Kathy perfect advice.
Yep, Melissa, that face is the correct response. Zack asks her on another date that she for some reason agrees to. Zack tells the movie theater manager to call the cops on someone who parked in the handicap space, then complains that Melissa shouldn't have to pay full price for a ticket if she's not even using one of their seats. When the movie starts, he asks the guy in front of Melissa to please slump down because my date is in a wheelchair. Yup, Melissa, once again, that's the right face. Belding tells everyone the bad news that the school budget's been cut, so no more teen line for Zack to prey upon vulnerable peers. But instead of letting this disaster quietly go away, Zack organizes a charity wheelchair basketball game in what looks like the saddest gym of all time. Everything is going, okay, not great, but fine, until Zack gives a speech at the end of the game.
I want another round of applause for the real star of today's game. The only one who has to be in a wheelchair all the time, Melissa Donahue. Come on, guys. All right.
Melissa face strikes again. Melissa tells Zack he's a jerk. Zack stumbles through a half-assed apology that Melissa accepts, and they kind of suggest they might start dating now. Only we never see Melissa again, so who knows what happened there. Probably f***ing killed herself. Let's review. Zack Morris abused his mandatory community service role at an anonymous teen helpline to lure an emotionally vulnerable girl into a date, then proceeded to make her feel bad about being in a wheelchair every single chance he got, including in front of every single person at school. Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash. Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris won 3rd place in a track meet and mistakenly thinks his ribbon is something to brag about. Slater shows up with a real trophy for winning a wrestling championship, stealing Zack's thunder, and finally giving Kelly a suitor worthy of her Kelly hugs. Zack deals with this like a man. Just kidding, he turns into a total f***ing psycho. After a trophy ceremony where Zack puts his dumb ribbon in the trash where it belongs, Zack meets Slater's father in the hall. Slater's dad is looking for Principal Belding, so Zack points him in the opposite direction of his office. Why? Because Zack got a great idea. That idea? Cramming his best friend into the principal's filing cabinet to eavesdrop on a private conversation so he can maybe use that information for personal gain. Papa Slater tells Belding he's transferring to Hawaii and taking Slater with him. Belding calls in Slater, who tells his dad he's made great friends at Bayside and isn't sure if he can leave them. Slater's dad tells him he can decide if they move. Screech, who is unable to stand after Zack left him trapped in a filing cabinet, breaks the news. He adds that if Slater stays at Bayside, Zack can consider himself a dead man with Kelly. This gives Zack another great idea. Then he abandons his injured friend for the 2nd time in one day, this time on a bathroom floor. Zack's new great idea? He tells the gang Slater is dying of a rare disease.
It's called mumbio-quadrillation osis.
That definitely doesn't sound made up, and the only possible cure is a clinic in Hawaii. But because Slater's a dumb jock who just wants to hang out with his friends, the only way he'll go is if everyone is super mean to him in what might be his final days on Earth. Zack begins his gaslighting campaign by telling the gang that symptoms of Slater's condition include memory loss, itching, and sneezing. Zack asks Slater why he wasn't in the weight room last period when they made plans to be in the weight room last period. Slater doesn't remember making these plans because they never made these plans. This causes his friends to burst into tears, much to Zack's delight. Zack shoves an armful of pepper up Slater's nose, making him sneeze. Then he mercilessly dumps Screech's beloved ant farm down Slater's shirt, making him look like he just smoked crack. Having adequately terrified the gang into believing Slater is on his deathbed, they go along with Zack's plan to treat him like dog shit so he'll want to move to Hawaii. They say super mean stuff to a friend they think is terminally ill, which is traumatic for all parties involved. Then Zack casually reveals Slater's prize trophy has been stolen. Zack's sadistic game of human chess works, and Slater tells the gang,
I'm moving to Hawaii.
Then Kelly drops this bomb.
I'm going with them.
Whoops, bet you didn't see that one coming, Zack. Slater asks why she wants to go, and Kelly says Zack told her he's dying. Slater goes along with it in the hopes of teaching Zack a much-deserved lesson. Slater tells Zack he changed his mind about Hawaii, but for some reason needs Zack to talk to his dad, who is already committed. Slater's dad agrees to help teach Zack a lesson, and he finally confesses, after being violently terrorized and threatened by a live grenade. Meanwhile, the gang is throwing Slater a going-away party, which Zack crashes to return the trophy he stole. Slater reveals he wasn't sick and was playing along to teach Zack a lesson. But because he was forced to stoop to Zack's level, the friends he picked over Hawaii are disgusted and turn their backs on him. Slater shows remorse, but Zack assures him it's fine and they'll get over it, because they always do, because he always does shit like this. Let's review. Zack Morris crammed his best friend in a filing cabinet, causing potentially permanent spinal damage, convinced the gang Slater was dying so they'd be dicks to him, to make him move to Hawaii so he could eliminate his clearly superior competition for dating Kelly, and didn't learn any lessons from any of it. Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash.
You're watching Funny or Die TV. And now, the long-haired businessman.
It's just, more of the same with these guys in accounting. It's a zoo over there, and the zookeeper is off duty permanently. It's a mess.
Hey Seth, how's it going?
My brother-in-law's in the hospital, actually, so.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Is he gonna be okay?
Well, they kind of are implying that that's
Actually,
not
before we get into all that, I'd love to actually bend your ear about the Tulsa situation.
Well,
Because
the Tulsa loose ends are becoming a real problem.
these things are really going to come back. Wait, there's no paint on this brush.
Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris heard Screech's parents are going out of town for their anniversary and shows up like he owns the place before they've left the house. He carelessly picks up Mrs. Power's prized Elvis statue, making her scream she would die if anything ever happened to it. Mrs. Powers hands Screech a huge list of rules, including no girls and no parties, which Zack urges him to ignore. Slater says they can still have fun hanging out, doing guy stuff. Hold that thought. Jesse, a decent human, sees Violet getting harassed by her nerdy boyfriend Max and stands up for her. Max responds by forcing himself on Jesse. That's going to be important later. Hey, remember that guy stuff? Turns out to be this, which, okay, looks like a good time I guess, even though surfing on the couch and dropping your nuts on the floor are probably against the rules. The girls show up to point and laugh at these losers. Screech tries to kick them out, but their dance moves are contagious and they knock over the Elvis statue. Zack, who knows how important the statue is, stands there and does nothing to try and save it. Then decides now is a great time to try some fresh material.
Looks like the king is dead. Again.
Screech passes out and has a nightmarish vision where he's visited by his deceased mother who died as a result of his negligence. Zack tells Screech not to worry because they'll get a replacement statue, even though he has no idea if one exists, where to buy it, or how much it might cost. Lisa miraculously finds an identical statue that costs $250, doing all of the legwork while Zack sat on his lazy blonde ass. Zack sees Max harassing his now ex-girlfriend and decides to teach him a lesson.
$250 lesson.
Because robbing this nerd will definitely teach him to respect women. Zack organizes a poker game at Screech's house, breaking the house rules yet again, and everyone unsurprisingly loses all their money to Max, who is dressed like he works at a goddamn casino. Zack is down to his last dime when he gets a hand he proudly shows to all his friends with a big dumb grin like all great poker players do. Unable to come up with the $50 necessary to keep playing, Zack bets Screech's dog. Zack assures Screech he cannot lose with this hand and pressures Max into going all in for $250 against the value of this live animal. Zack has 4 queens, which would be great except for the fact that Max beats him with 4 kings. Max takes the dog and Screech drifts into a catatonic state of shock. Also, there are 42 poker hands that can beat 4 queens, you fucking genius. But don't worry, Zack assures everyone he'll teach Max another lesson. That lesson? Stand behind Slater while he threatens Max and takes all the risk of getting caught assaulting a peer when the principal shows up. Max says he'll give the dog back if he can get a date with Jesse. Zack tells Max he'll happily make one of his best female friends spend a night with a guy he knows abuses women and sexually violated her yesterday. But not before Zack announces they're going to have a party at Screech's house. That's right, Zack finally gets to have his party. Only now he's charging an entrance fee so they can buy the statue and maybe make some extra cash on the side. When Jesse says she won't go on Zack's arranged date, he guilts her into it by reminding Screech of the dog he lost to make him cry. Zack ignores Jesse, begging for help at the party. Help me! And they get enough cash to buy the statue just in time for Screech's mom to come home early and catch them. Zack convinces her it's a party for their anniversary thanks to a banner he rigged, because apparently he knew they'd probably get caught but still had the party anyway. Let's review. Zack Morris tried to get his best friend to have a party against his mother's rules, did nothing to stop her statue from shattering, did nothing to help find a replacement, lost all his friends' money in a poker match, gambled away Screech's dog, forced his best friend to go on a date with a known sex offender, and threw a party anyways knowing he'd get caught. Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash. Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris enters the school store where Kelly works to berate and judge her coworkers for being different.
There's nothing in here any normal person would want to buy.
Unable to accept that this store he's never been to sells stuff he doesn't like, Zack takes it upon himself to get these nerds fired. Zack makes his case to Mr. Belding.
Their best seller is flesh-colored Band-Aids for nerds.
Then age shames him in his own office.
You know you've proven that people over 40 still belong in a workplace?
Mr. Belding finally caves to Zack's bullying and agrees to let Zack run the store, but asks him to please handle this delicate situation gracefully. So Zack makes this announcement to the entire school.
Will the 3 dweebs who used to run the school store please report to the principal's office?
Zack gives the store a makeover, replacing all the school supplies, textbooks, and SAT prep guides with sunglasses, beach balls, and those books for kids that come with a bag of magic tricks. But for some reason, nobody is lining up to buy Zack's novelty clock backpacks. When the girls go to swimsuit practice and Screech leaves for photo club, Zack gets one of his signature great ideas.
Screech, go get your camera. We're gonna take pictures of the girls in the pool.
Yikes. Zack sends Screech in full scuba gear to take pictures of the female swim team without their consent, so he can sell them in a Girls of Bayside swimsuit calendar for $5 a pop. The girls are excited about the new customers, until they see the giant cardboard cutouts of some super casual candid moments of practice, advertising the unauthorized calendars. They demand Zack stop selling them immediately. He refuses. Mr. Belding tells Zack to destroy every last calendar, when a strange man with a goatee appears, who is drawn to the school thanks to the photos of underage girls in bathing suits that his friend who works at a print shop showed him. He says he's a fashion magazine photographer, and is looking for 3 models for an upcoming spread on high school fashion, which everyone believes even though this creep looks like he got dressed in the dark. The girls jump at the chance chance to be famous, and Zack says he's happy to recommend them as the best models in the calendar if they agree to let him keep selling. The girls agree to Zack's extortion. The girls have a photo shoot all over school, including at the student store, which means they had to close it for business. And the pictures turn out great. So great that this man, who they just met and for some reason still believe works in fashion despite that shirt, wants to take Kelly to Paris for a month for more photo shoots. Zack narcissistically makes this all about him and decides to sabotage Kelly's potentially life-changing opportunity.
If Kelly goes to Paris, she'll forget about me forever. Gotta find some way to make her stay.
Zack begins psychologically manipulating Kelly. First reminding the girls that Paris means she'll miss their upcoming swim meet, then telling Slater Paris means she won't be able to work with him on their science project, then asking Screech to pretend to cry, and telling Kelly he doesn't want to make her feel bad or anything, but Screech is crying because she's missing his birthday next week.
Gosh, I feel like I'm disappointing everybody.
The gang tries to take Kelly to a goodbye lunch, but she can't make it because of one last photo shoot. Zack says he'll invite everybody to the photo shoot, which sounds great to Kelly. Then Zack turns around and lies to his friends that Kelly doesn't want them there because it's unprofessional. Zack arrives at Kelly's photo shoot alone and says nobody came because they're angry at her for all the ways she's let them down. This emotionally destroys Kelly, forcing her to run off the set in tears. The creep in the ugly shirt sees right through Zack's mind games, shames him for taking away Kelly's opportunity, and is somehow the voice of reason in all this. Zack shows up to Kelly's house to confess and apologize, and gives her permission to go to Paris because he still thinks he owns her because he never learned anything. Let's review. Zack Morris got 3 innocent students fired, turned a high school student store into his personal toy chest, sold illegal swimsuit photos of his underage classmates, which brought this creep out of the woodwork, and when this gave Kelly a life-changing opportunity, he psychologically manipulated her into feeling bad about it, and never learned anything from any of it. Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash.
And now, the long-haired businessman.
Hey guys, you interested in starting the weekend early?
Hey, all
You
right.
don't have to ask me twice. Too good?
Someone's coming. Oh, God. Come on, we gotta go.
Oh, come on.
They're gonna see. He's being real ornery.
Kyle, we need to get it together. I can't move on their way.
I want to sleep here.
Zack Morris is trash.
Lisa won Homecoming Queen, and the football team is having a toga party to celebrate. Zack Morris uses this as an opportunity to try and pull a threesome. A man who appears to be in his 30s says he used his brother's ID to buy beer. Zack doesn't want a beer, but Slater reminds him they're seniors in high school at a party, and it's just one beer, so Zack succumbs to peer pressure and drinks a bunch of beers. The party's winding down when Zack decides to abandon the girl he's been talking to, passed out on a couch surrounded by drunk dudes. Lisa and Slater announce they are too drunk to drive. Screech is in the process of explaining he hasn't had a drop of alcohol all night, when Zack interrupts him to say he'll drive. Lisa's mom left her the Mercedes while she's out of town. Zack requests the keys while still holding half a beer. Zack almost crashes the car. Then, after he narrowly avoids an accident, turns around to tell Slater about that crazy time he almost crashed the car and hits a telephone pole. Zack wakes up Tori in the middle of the night and asks her to pay to get the car towed. Slater complains his arm is hurting. Zack ignores his cries for help. Zack's dad walks in, and to avoid getting in trouble, Zack creates an elaborate lie where Lisa was driving, swerved to miss a dog, and hit a telephone pole. Because even in Zack's fantasies, he can't imagine missing a giant immovable object. Zack continues lying, explaining the car can't go back to Lisa's house yet because their garage is full of boxes of tools Lisa's family annually gives to homeless people.
Boxes of tools for homeless people.
Perfect alibi. When Zack's dad says he's going to call Lisa's mom, Zack gets the drop on his father by having Lisa preemptively call Zack's dad pretending to be her mom, further spreading his insane web of interconnected deceit. Slater interrupts the gang's first hangover to announce repairs will cost $1,000. Even if they steal a water pump from the school's auto shop, they're still looking at $500 of damages. Zack spies a nerd to prey on and immediately thinks of a way to rob him. He says if the nerd pays $10 a letter, Zack can write a message on Slater's jersey for the homecoming game. And if it's a love letter to a hot girl he has no chance of dating, that hot girl will suddenly want to date him. Lisa calls her mom to say she won Homecoming Queen and lies about the car. She shows signs of guilt, but Zack, who is counting that nerd's money, reminds everyone to stay focused on the plan and tells Screech to go steal that pump. Zack's scheme to advertise on his friend's back is working when Slater breaks the news that his arm was badly injured in the accident and he won't be able to play in the game. Zack shows a total lack of empathy for his friend missing the biggest game of the year as a result of his drunk driving accident, and asks if he can maybe just throw little passes so he doesn't have to refund the nerd's money. When Mr. Belding sees Slater's broken arm, Zack takes it upon himself to lie for Slater and says it happened in practice. Mr. Belding commends Slater for being such a great example of an upstanding student. Slater and Lisa both give pained speeches to the student body, visibly struggling with the weight of their deception. Zack is confronted by the nerds whose money he already spent and reluctantly hands over his phone as the next best thing to a cash refund. He asks what he did to ever get into this mess. Tori reminds him.
You drove drunk and ran into a telephone pole, remember?
Lisa's mom asks for a ride home, and Zack lies yet again, saying the car is at his house because they waxed it. When they get to Zack's house and the car won't start, because who knew Tori and Slater couldn't fix a Mercedes during lunch, Zack says it's because wax leaks into the fuel injector and has Slater corroborate his lie. Then when Zack's dad shows up, Zack tries to get rid of him with another lie, saying a guy called and he wants to buy 100 computers and his dad better call him back right away. Zack's dad remarks you can't even tell the car was in an accident, and even though the jig is now up, Zack continues to lie, trying to say the accident his dad is referring to is the made-up thing with the wax in the fuel injector. Lisa and Slater are completely over this shit. Zack is now forced to come clean about his many lies and faces punishment, which is literally just getting yelled at, grounded for a couple of weeks, and losing his car for a while so he doesn't kill anyone with his total lack of judgment. Let's review. Zack Morris drove his friend's mother's car drunk after ignoring an available sober driver and crashed it into a telephone pole. Then to cover up his mistake, lied his ass off left and right, tricked nerds out of their money to pay for the damages, stole auto parts from the school, caused Slater to miss the big game, and crushed his friends under the weight of his lies. And he only got grounded for 2 weeks? Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash.